Hey guys, it's Fancy, and you're watching the Good Wives Network, and I am here today to talk to you about Dr. Mark Feldman. So, Dr. Feldman is the leading expert, allegedly, in the MBP community. He is on the board with several other members of the forensic team, psychologists, investigators, things like doctors, things like that, and they study these cases, and he is 100% considered the leading expert. However, I have major problems with this, and I've discussed this before, in that when I emailed him to ask him a very specific question, he told me that he had never spoken to Gypsy, nor had he ever looked at any of her medical records, which made me very suspicious. And now I think it was Sweet as Honey who put out the other day that there is a clip where what he says he did was basically just use Google to research this, and then he came up with his assessment. And I want to know why. Because if you were contracted with HBO, wouldn't you think that your research would be just asking them for the medical documents that you need? Because it would seem to be that would be what you would need. In fact, I know that's what you need to be able to diagnose someone like Dee Dee with Munchausen by proxy. And you, as the leading expert, should definitely know that. So I wrote him a letter again today after all of this, and I'm hoping he'll write back. I'm going to read you the letter now. Hello, Dr. Feldman. We spoke some time back about the Gypsy Rose Blanchard case. In Mommy Dead and Dearest, you stated this was the worst case of medical child abuse you had ever seen. And yet in another special, you admitted that all your research was done by searching online. You also stated to me that you never spoke to Gypsy, nor did you ever evaluate her medical files or Dee Dee's medical files. I am wondering now, with all this new evidence, if your assessment is the same. Could there be a possibility that Gypsy was the one malingering and not her mother? She knew about the disorder, and her family did too, all the way back to 2011 when she was diagnosed with a 1q21.1 microdeletion. She told her friend about it in a text and stated it explained all the health problems. She also told her co-conspirator that she had a seizure during a surgery and she was temporarily paralyzed. When the feeling returned, she stated she did not tell her mother for 14 years that she could in fact walk. She told the doctors the same thing. It is the only symptom she had that they could not understand. While the disorder can cause muscle weakness and atrophy, it did not explain why Gypsy could not walk. Now, the answer has been revealed. That's it. Because she didn't want to. Her prison emails indicate she was in on the cons from an early age, that she lied about being isolated and kept away, and even her father and her discussed what a good mom Dee Dee was, and that she truly loved Gypsy and did everything for her. Everything Dee Dee ever claimed is explained by the 1q21.1 microdeletion. So my first question, given this new evidence, does it give you a reason to reevaluate your assessment before? Second question, how often do you see cases that may be seen as medical child abuse, but the symptoms could be attributed to a rare genetic disorder? And how often do you test for those when evaluating these types of cases? Third question, did HBO inform you of this disorder before you gave your expert professional opinion? Now, just to let you guys know, I have carbon copied Mike Weber and B. Yorker on this, other members of the board that works with Dr. Feldman that are all experts in the field. I have spoken with them all in the past, so I am carbon copying them for this because I'd really like to know their answers. I have spoken with Mike Weber and B. Yorker in the past and indicated to them I'd love for them to really look at this case. I'd love your board to do a real evaluation. I told Mike last year that I did not feel MBP was the correct assessment. He is who made me go back to the records and evaluate them again, and we found out the microarray test for the microdeletion was allegedly deleted by a team member close to Gypsy and her stepmother. The karyotype test was there, and it being a simpler test did not find any genetic disorders, but the more comprehensive microarray did. One of our medical professionals in 2019 flagged this, and we even asked Christy about it, and she said it was another thing Dee Dee must have made up. I never saw the second test because she instructed members of our team to take it. I found it in our original copies. It is also suspected she did, in fact, have a rare form of childhood leukemia linked to anemia and the 1q21.1 as well. The approved treatment for this would be a bone marrow treatment. Melissa Moore, in several interviews, indicates that Gypsy's medical records before the dates I have, that there was a bone marrow treatment and Gypsy has admitted to having chemotherapy. There is evidence HBO, the defense, the prosecution, and the whole family knew about this deletion and purposely left it out of their documentaries, going so far as to alter text conversations to specifically remove that Gypsy herself knew all about it and admitted it was the reason for all of her medical problems. I am not a doctor, but I am finishing up a degree in forensic psychology where this case has been my main topic of discussion. It is very clear to me that Gypsy likely is sociopathic or psychotic with severe personality disorders. I believe that is on par for B's assessment, but I believe this does not stem from MBP, but from the microdeletion that has schizophrenia, autism, ADHD, and severe personality disorders and other types of mental markers. She is a pathological lying. Her being the approved poster child for MBP is not good for your community fighting to help others understand MBP better. It is my belief her mother was just as much a victim of Gypsy's constant lies as anyone else. I would think you being experts would want to ensure you had this right for your own credibility. Thank you and hope to hear from you soon. Fancy Maselli. So there you have it, guys. There's my message to Dr. Feldman today. I did copy B. Yorker and Mike Weber. So I'm hoping that one of the three will get back to me eventually because I really would like the answers to these questions. If it was just a simple mistake or if you weren't given the proper access to things, okay, I understand. And I think that you would want to, at this point, make sure that you have it right, considering the fact that all this new information has come out. And it really kind of makes you look like you didn't do your research properly. And I'd like to think that the leading experts on Munchausen by proxy would do better research than that. So I'm hoping that we may be able to get this cleared up with Mark Feldman and the rest of the MBP experts if they will take this case on to look at for the board. If they do so, I might be able to get that into my documentary. But I really don't even care. I just simply want them to look at this case because it's the biggest case out there. They're using it for all their stuff, but yet they don't even know whether or not it's a truthful diagnosis or not. I really, really, really want some answers on this. Is this your normal protocol? Is this how you behave when you're called to a court of law to testify? What other documentaries have you misskirted the truth or blatantly lied in them? What other cases have you deemed either the one that the mother was MBP or the mother wasn't MBP that might be questionable considering the way that you handled this one? So just some questions I'd like to know. Have a good one from the Good Wives, serving up true crime, one dish at a time. Bye, guys. Mwah.